What annoys you most about celebrities and why? Celebrities who were born into families that are already established in the industry need to be more honest with themselves and the world that they were able to make it big because of their last names. It's not their fault that they were born into the family that they were. But it's not always what you know, it's who you know, and nepotism has played a big part on how a lot of them have made it big. Sure, they still have to put in some work, but it's less than some random person from a regular family would have to. Ellen and her show is being investigated by their network for having a toxic work environment, something that former and current employees are coming forward with. Celebrities are now hashtagging I stand by Ellen to show her support, and some like Katy Perry and Ashton Kutcher are saying I have always been treated with respect by Ellen. She has showed me nothing but kindness. She's a great person. Ricky Gervais was right when he said these celebrities are so out of touch with the real world. They are given so much free stuff, but have the money to pay for it, that they are given more weight to their words than experts or scientists. The news articles, man, LeBron James first one to use stadium's new toilet. Stupid shoot like that drives me insane, and there's billions of those shoot the articles lol. I used to work at the BBC, and the majority of them, either intentionally or unintentionally, were absolute arseholes. Simple stuff like getting up, walking across the room to get water is something they expect other people to do for them. Chasing across the country in the pouring rain to deliver something to someone's house in the middle of nowhere, because they wouldn't wait 30 seconds for a script. Then screaming abuse at them when, by miracle, they actually find your huge country house in the rain and dark that doesn't have a name or a number. I'm looking at you, David Frost, you massive ant. Or calling the police because they ring on your door to deliver something they were expecting. I won't name that one as they are still alive. So many of them with petty expectations or just plain rudeness. Paula Yates, may she rot in hell, I think was the absolute worst one of an overall very bad bunch. Don't get me wrong, some of them were lovely people. Kate Aid was extraordinarily nice, letting me wait in her London pad and insisting I had some sherry, but they were a distinct minority. David Bowie was also very nice. They're fans. I can understand if you like an actor or musician, but they're not just gonna see you in the crowd one day and decide to marry you. It's not gonna happen. If they commit a crime, they are less likely to get as long of a sentence as a non-celebrity. Just so out of touch with reality. Seeing a bunch of rich celebs singing Imagine having no possessions in the middle of a pandemic is not inspiring. It's enraging. They don't annoy me. The fact that we, as a society, worship and shower them with wealth and platforms for their obviously useless opinions on complex issues is what is annoying. The way they try to seem relatable. We're all in this together. No, the frick we are not. We're walking while you're flying. Stop trying to seem like you're one of us, cause you're not. More than annoyance, but the environment is a breeding ground for sexual grooming, pedophilia, sexual assault, etc., and many are part of it or turn a blind eye to it. Their wealth and status separates them from most of society, and they are not held as accountable as non-celebrities. They also grandstand and make shows of caring by telling us, the common people, how we ought to treat each other and care for one another, but rarely do they give from their own personal coffers, and if they do, most ensure it's a visible act. It ends up being about them more than the people they are trying to help. We should be caring for one another even if never documented or offered up to the masses for recognition and praise. How a lot of them believe they're a gift to the rest of us low-lifes. The culture of worship that surrounds them, because it's stupid. The way they never ever acknowledge their nannies or housekeepers or personal chefs or assistants. Then they're all self-care Sunday, and hey, you know what? I'd maybe have time for self-care too if I never cooked or cleaned or had to do every damn thing in my own life in the few hours between working and sleeping. If people knew how many staff were in America's Sweethearts Captain Awesome's mansion 365 days a year, they maybe wouldn't be quite as circularity blizzard, I guess. Thinking that they can close off multiple streets with no problem, because it's their show. Thanks for making me late to work. Lena Dunham. P.S. Your show sucks ass. Hello peasants. I sit here in my $1 billion mansion and drink champagne that would pay your mortgage off. I have been asked by a charity that paid me millions to ask you people that can't even afford to put your kids through college to give this charity money to save the starving dolphins of Africa with AIDS and Ebola enough money so they can get shoes. Now I myself am not going to give them money. In fact, they are paying me to do this ad. Enough to buy a boat. But you who have so little need to give money to this charity, or else you're a scumbag and I as a celebrity that you like will hate you forever. Please give generously. This is what I hate. When they don't actually do anything worth being famous for. Cough Kardashians, cough cough. Telling people that if they try hard they are gonna be successful and accomplish all their dreams, it just makes poverty seem like a mental thing. It sounds cute and encouraging, but it isn't that simple. Most of them spend more time worrying about their image than about other people's quality of life. I think most of the hate here is directed at younger actors and musicians who were chosen at childhood by agencies to be stars. Those people can easily develop narcissistic tendencies. However, people like Samuel L. Jackson, who only started acting at age 30, or any actor or musician who has ever worked in manual labor are more often honest people than not. They think just because they're famous that their opinion matters when most of them are uneducated. The fakeness of their lives, especially the Kardashians, all show tremendously overpaid and shallow. That they somehow think or try to be relatable. There just is a big difference between them and the average human. I think one thing that is irritating to me is celebrity children for the simple fact that once they hit a certain age or even sooner, our society is gonna provide them with all the adoration and opportunity that anyone could ever ask for. Essentially, they're only famous because they have famous parents, and sometimes I look and think, would we care about anything you are doing if your parents weren't famous? I think it's kind of hypocritical how some celebs will be 100% against showing their kids or having news outlets take pics of their kids. But then when they want their kids to be in a movie or have a singing career or basically just be a public figure, then all of a sudden they want all eyes on their kids. But that is more of an issue of celeb worship than the actually celebrities themselves. Their fan clubs and paparazzi. Why are people so obsessed? So there's a Disney actress that was upset about George Floyd. Rightfully so. But she said the most asinine thing ever. If you're white and able-bodied, get the frick out here and put yourselves on the front lines. Risking arrest is the bare minimum you can do. We don't risk anything ever. Direct quote off her Instagram. What happened to George Floyd was absolutely awful and wrong. But really, just a completely detached thing to say. Getting arrested is the bare minimum? For who? That can frick up your chances at jobs, housing, etc. Celebrities think they're coming from a moral high ground, and that's what annoys me about them. The blind worship they receive, particularly those on Instagram who promote skinny teas and other potentially harmful products to their followers. When they're treated like gods, Beyoncé is the first one that springs to mind. No wonder so many celebrities have a complex. You've only got to look at that clip of her responding to an interviewer saying you are Beyoncé with thank you. That even their public apologies feel like they've been filtered through several PR companies and a manager before they are scripted and memorized. How stuck up they are. You are only famous because of the people. If people didn't like you, then you'd be working some casual, everyday job. Don't treat your fans like shoot. What annoys me the most is any kind of virtue signaling, bandwagon jumping bullshit from celebrities, like Gal Gadot's Imagine video, which is honestly one of the hardest things I've ever sat through. I cringed so much that I almost ruptured my spleen. Or the other one about BLM, where a bunch of white celebrities say they aren't going to take it anymore. Nothing against the message, but it's just so freaking sanctimonious and self-serving to think they really thought it would have an impact. I hate it when celebrities try to push an agenda, like Joaquin Phoenix banging on about veganism. Ricky Gervais had it right at the Golden Globes. No one gives a frick what you think. Stop lecturing us from your mansions. The only time I want to hear from an actor is when I've chosen to watch them in a movie. Love how they make millions, but complain about corporate greed. Lately during this pandemic, it's really been how celebrities try to connect with us, saying how hard this time is and complaining about being in quarantine and having messy clothes hair, and how boring it's been. You know what else sucks? People who have had to work this whole time risking infection, or people who lost their jobs and might starve, because they don't live as privileged lives as you. They shouldn't act like it's such a struggle for them. On top of that, it annoys me how much, particularly actors, get paid. Yes, it takes talent to act, but you're telling me that worth more than a brain surgeon? I can understand musicians, comedians, and writers, because they're creating something original, but acting just feels like it could be taught. I respect actors, I just don't think they should get paid that much. Okay, my rant is over. That they could help so many people with just a fraction of their wealth, but instead they buy 500 cars and $1 mill rings. Firefighters save people from a burning building. News tomorrow. Celeb name. Wear a $40 bikini, you can buy it from here. Police department stop robbery. News tomorrow. Celeb name. Is feeling depressed since yesterday. There are many examples of this.